What's happening, you kind folks? Welcome back to the Ipaintcreatures YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, come on in, and if you know about me, IPC, on the internet, you're just going to experience more of my goodness, more of my art, more of my illumination of sharing in my divine purpose on this planet. And come on and enjoy. So I'm showing here a speed painting of me working on a black trucker's hat with the mesh in the back. So I don't do full coverage on this one, but I'm using a Sigma gel pen to basically do all the illustration, and I'm drawing creatures from the funky eye puppets in the Matsu universe story world that I brought forth. And this first one is Ryo, the Tatsu. And I have a lot of step-by-step tutorials where I go into depths of my tools, my process, my thinking, by creating fantastical creatures like Ryo over on Skillshare.com. So go check it on Skillshare.com. So usually what I do is I bring you in with a quote by a famous artist, or a quote that's out there by an artist that have put into the mainstream. And today I wanted to give one from the famous Charlie Chaplin. And Charlie Chaplin says, "There are more vivid facts and detail in the works of art than there are in history books." And I live this every day because I've been doing art so long in my life that it's got to a point where it could either become really rote and I just do, my tasks and my processes so I can get paid and keep doing the art. But art has an amazing way of tapping into more of your potential and what's possible and what you can bring forth of who you already are. And to me, I do a lot of art. The main reason I always tell people I do my art is because I can't buy it anywhere else. I can't go acquire it. Like, I can't find this hat that I'm showing you in the speed paint I'm doing. I can't find it. I can't buy it. And so it also, does a deeper thing. It empowers me and makes me believe in myself more, because now I can create the art that I would definitely purchase and I want on shirts and hats and around me all the time to remind me of being funkified. That's something Raw, the funky eye puppet, says all the time. And funkified means is you've really locked into who you are and living your purpose and having a great time in this lifetime. So when any pitfalls or obstacles or things that get in your way of believing in yourself show up, you don't really take them personal. You take them in, unless I like to say, pretend or preview or pre-send. And when pre-send is put back together, it means being present. And pretend is like when you're a kid, just pretend you're going there, and so you will go there and you believe in yourself and you'll take all the action you need to get there. And so going back to the Charlie Chaplin quote, he says, "There are more valid facts and details in the works of art." And that's how I do most of my art. When I do creative writing or I illustrate these creatures, every time I do a new creature, I always like to do it in service for someone else. So it kind of gets me out of my own head and gets out of that state of like what they call writer's block, or just dried up on creativity and not inspired at all. And I believe, when you do the art, two things it majorly does for me is it reveals first. So it's full of revelations, and it's full of a lot of trials too, because remember, your brain doesn't work, your imagination is not in full power until you don't understand something. So I know we get in the habit, including myself, and I work on myself every day to get out of the habit of blaming and complaining. Just blame someone else for everything not going smooth, and that you're moving in a motion that it doesn't seem natural, and everything just doesn't flow and come together and be exciting. And you have to use kind of artificial stimulants, all the way down to junk food or things that are distractions away from what you really love to do. Because I read that book Flow, and it really gave me new perspective, because most people think flow is just go with the flow, whatever happens. But I've always been a creator and artist, and when it really comes down to art does happen when you get out the paint brushes, or you get out the creative pen or pencil, and you get on that theater stage, or you just start dancing in one place. The art does happen. but there's points where it dries up, and I think it dries up because you're doing self-talk, and your self-talk is all negative and depressive, and like, you can't, you won't, it's hard, it's difficult, where a lot of times we don't know. Life at its essence is a grand mystery. And so I definitely do all the art I do to definitely get facts. And remember this quote by Charlie Chaplin, he uses the word facts, and I love to, play with syllabic forms of words, right? So that's breaking down syllables, and that's what I did with the preview and the pretend and the presend, right? And that's the way I look at everything, because things show up sometimes, and it'll be outside yourself, and you'll be like, oh, that person's lucky, and then you treat yourself as a victim. Where if you use the model of pretend and presend and preview, then you just cut the syllables apart, so you say preview. So it's just a preview of like what's about to come, because you just might have to do a little more adjusting and work in your own thoughts and patterns of things, then it'll come true. So when you say present, that says present. So like when you actually get to enjoying what you manifested or came to be, you're present, you're present with it. And pretend goes back to where you're a child, where like, if you wanted to be an astronaut or a fireman, you just went and found something that you could dress up in that would make you a fireman. Even if it wasn't the exact clothes or the exact uniform, you'd figure it out and make it up. And I think a lot of the Muppets have come from there. So back to the Charlie Chaplin quote, he says, there are more valid facts, right? And so facts, I love also playing with the word artifact. And if I break that down in 3 syllables, it's fact. And fact is your values and beliefs and things that you've actually experienced, And not a strong believer you have to physically experience it all. I believe, especially as an artist, you can, or a creative person, or being creative, right? You can experience it in your imagination, and those are facts, because you actually went in and you be first person in your imagination, and you thought from the beyond, you thought from your imagination, you trusted your imagination and the sights it sees. And so definitely the details are there, right? And it's the stories, like details, right? It has a tale in there, right? And so, if you don't like the way you perceive things went on in the past, you go in and do what I call inventory, and go inside yourself and reinvent your story. And definitely be creative, use your art to reveal facts and details about yourself that no one else can teach you except yourself. Thank you for watching the video, and a shout out to the amazing Charlie Chaplin, and I'll talk to you folks real soon.